Good day, everybody. This is Brian Tarian from the Disability Digest here, and welcome to our Wednesday YouTube live event. I am fortunate enough to have two of my wonderful associates with me here today, Michelle and Jam. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
For today's agenda, we are going to do the second part of our presentation about freelancing and how you can freelance part-time from your home, use your existing skills, and make money, keep your benefits, have fun, make a difference in the world. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. So that's what we're going to cover. Few things before we get started, some housekeeping items. We're definitely going to take time to address your individual questions. And Jam, if you would have our group surveyed so we can find out like where they're at in the process. Welcome, Laura,
Yes,
Joshua, Leonard, Michael, welcome. Okay, so a few things before we get started. I just want to go over an item that was in the news today that I've been doing some research on, which is medical collections, medical debt. 23 million people have debt from medical expenses, and I know a lot of them are here at the Disability Digest. I don't know how many. But the good news on medical debt, I just started doing some research on this, is in October, it's not going to be reflected in your credit score. So if you have a credit score and you've got $50,000 of medical debt in there that are dragging your credit score down, that will be eliminated in October, and your credit score could get, from what I'm seeing, maybe up to a 20-point bump. A 20-point increase. So how could that help you? That could help you if you're trying to get a place to live, if you're trying to buy anything, if you're trying to reorganize any debt. It'll give you a lot of flexibility. So stay tuned on that. So here at the Disability Digest, if you're new here, welcome, glad to have you. And certainly if you're a member or coming back to these events, super glad to have you back. Must mean we're doing something right. But we provide these events for you in this snippet of information to help you get your benefits approved fast. It's one of the things we focus on. We also, once you're approved, we want to help you keep your benefits and help you maximize your benefits. So you know what you need to do so you don't have your benefits removed. Make sure you're not paying for things that you shouldn't be paying for, that you're getting everything that you're entitled to. So those are the things that we focus on doing. We have content on our YouTube channel that you can definitely enjoy. And you can join us as a member. The advantage of doing that is once you fill out a brief profile, which there's no charge for your membership, we have an understanding of where you're at in the process. Maybe you're trying to get approved and you've already applied. Maybe you've been approved. And then we can get information that's specific to your needs to you. And I've been interviewing people since 2006 when I started this, experts in the industry that you see on your screen right now, like Carl Osterhow, 25 years of experience in helping people get approved. Andy Leaf, who helps people start their own business. Ex-Social Security employee, Barb Mountain. Mark Snearowicz, who is a Medicare benefits expert, and then a lot of contributions from members like you that once your profile is completed, we can direct these to you. So that's one of the advantages of becoming a member here, or updating your membership if you haven't already. Okay. All right, Michelle, Jam, are we ready to roll?
Yes, Brian.
well, in the last few weeks. 2 weeks ago, we collected some ideas from members that I've either interviewed or have contributed their experience here. And in our YouTube Live, we profiled those ideas as things that you could do to supplement your income and keep your benefits. And that is working at a center for independent living, getting a traditional in-home job, starting a YouTube channel, starting a website. These are all things that our members have done. So you just go back and look at a few issues or some of the prior events, and you can get a handle on that. So last week, what we did is we gave you a introduction to freelancing. And freelancing is where you can go to a company like Upwork that we're using as an example, take your existing skills and look for ways that you can apply your skills to companies that are looking for workers. And you can control your hours, you can control your income, you can pick the companies that you work for, but there is work and steps in advance to do that so that you can maximize your chances of doing it. You know what would be interesting to know is if anybody last week was here and went through and set up their profile. If you would just answer yes in the chat, that would be helpful. And those of you that are just joining again, welcome. We're going to take time to address your individual questions. Okay, so I have asked Michelle and Jam to join and participate today because they both are work on Upwork. So they work for the Disability Digest through Upwork, and they had contacted me or I had contacted them. I don't remember how that works. So they're freelancers, and I am on the hiring side here for the business. So we're going to share our mutual experiences with you to help you understand some of the key steps that you can do, should do to set up your Upwork profile. Okay, so I see a yes here from Leonard, set up your profile, fantastic. I don't see that anybody else did, but that's okay. All right. How about this? Is there anything I should revisit from last week, Jam or Michelle, that we should cover before we get into some of the details of what we're going to discuss today? Not to put you on the spot, but I am.
None that I recall.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. So the brief recap is you set up a profile and then you look for a job. And last week we showed you how you can look for jobs in like virtual assistant, doing administrative work, how you could take skills from maybe being a nurse or a teacher and apply those. So today we're going to spend some time on getting started, on setting up your profile. And Michelle has offered to share some tips in setting up your profile. So if you look at my screen before Michelle gets started, I have set up a freelancer profile as you would to go in here and look for a job. And this is mine right here. So I don't know if there's anything I should navigate to that would be helpful for you, Michelle, but if there is, let me know. Otherwise, love to hear some of the tips that you would suggest for our audience out there.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Brian. As you all can see, this is the Upwork website wherein you can actually create your own profile to browse jobs or to apply for jobs. And initially, you would like to put in all your basic information like name, email address, phone number for them to contact you in case they would need to call. And also, you would need to put in your previous experiences inside the platform. And I would highly suggest once you go ahead and input your job experiences, you should be very specific on the tasks that you do previously, because employers would actually take a look on the previous jobs or the previous tasks that you have done, and they would also check if that would be somehow similar to what they would need. So be specific on the job descriptions that you have done previously, and also you should also put in your best contact number, like your email, the best email to contact you.
Mhm.
And after setting up your profile and all the information, you would submit the request for a profile application, and that will go through verification inside Upwork. And then after that, it would usually take around 12 to 48 hours before you get a reply from them, if you get approved or not.
Okay.
So that's how you actually set up your profile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what are some of the common pitfalls that people might make in setting up their profile?
The most common is that if you don't actually put in like a specific information about your previous jobs,
Mm-hmm.
then employers might just skip on your profile. If you are like putting something generic, for example, admin tasks, if you just fill that out from on your job experiences, then they just might skip you,
Mm-hmm.
because admin test is a very broad job description or task that you have done in the past. So you should also put in there, if you have done admin tasks, you should include if it has something to do with like Excel editing or word typing or basic admin tasks. So those are the specific things that you should include inside your job description.
Specifics, right? What about the general aesthetics of it? Is there anything like, you can see my okay picture that I have here, but
They would actually prefer to have a picture or profile picture wherein you are like wearing something corporate.
yeah.
So that's one advice that was given to me by one of the verification representative from Upwork. So
Mm-hmm.
it would be best if you are wearing a corporate attire.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
people right now are really visual. So
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
wearing
Yeah.
that could actually be a big point for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
just
go ahead, Sam.
just make sure you include a decent photo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I missed the mark on this one because I just have a headshot.
But yeah, that would also add more points if you have a photo that has professional setup.
Okay.
And yeah, I think those are the basics that you need to do when setting up your Upwork profile. And once you get approved, that's the time that you'll be able to browse jobs based on your previous experiences. And
Okay.
yeah, as you can see here, this is actually one sample. You could actually see how much they would offer you, like $145 per hour, depending on your asking. Because once you set up your profile, you'll also put in there how much is your starting rate per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how many hours you would like to work in a week. So
Mm-hmm.
as for example, as for me, I work 40 hours per week. That would actually depend on your availability, guys. So
Right.
those are the things that you'll be able to set up on your profile.
I'm curious, if somebody's new working on Upwork and they don't have any experience or track record and they're going and want to get started, is there a strategy for hourly wage? Should it be lower or higher, or, do you have any
Yeah,
idea?
Yeah.
if you don't have experience, Brian, the offer usually would actually be lesser compared to those who are experienced
Mhm.
people. So what I can suggest, if you don't have experience that correlates to jobs that are inside Upwork, if you have had previous training, in regards to the task or the line of your expertise, then include the trainings that you have had in the past, and also include sample portfolio that you have done, even if not for an employer. If it's something that you have done during you are still studying, say,
Mhm.
so you could also include those
Right.
information inside the profile, just for you to add some points since you don't have the experience relevant. So
I
yeah.
get it. I get it. So I think what I'm hearing, for example, if somebody is an executive assistant for the president of a company and you know, they're no longer able to work because of their condition, but they can work, you know, here on Upwork. Well, they have all the experience, so they would need to communicate that experience, and that would be able to justify a solid hourly wage, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And they can also include their their daily tasks that they have done, stuff like that, in order for the employer to really, find out that you are really capable in doing the job. Since you have the experience, you'll also be able to outline on how you execute your tasks on a daily manner.
Yeah.
So if they actually see that detailed information, then there's no way they want to hire you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can also ask for testimonials from your previous clients outside Upwork.
Oh, good. Good one.
Yeah.
Good. You know, and if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I don't see that I have any experience. I expect you do if you've done something for work that, you know, that you can leverage here. But let's just say that you don't. You know, you could go the traditional route and work on a volunteer basis or at a center for independent living, or go through NTI at home that we work with, and get some experience and training there, develop some skill sets, and then look at this as a step two to come back to. So don't be discouraged if this is like not a fit right now, but something that you want to do.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so let's see here. Got kind of a hit list over here of things I want to make sure that we cover. All right, and you think can we move on to, or should we move on to tips for finding like employment contracts and places to work after or is there anything else we should cover on setting up the profile and the profile strategy?
I think I'm good with
the
profile, and we can move on to the next topic, Brian. Tips on finding contracts.
Okay. All right. I will put in here just as an example. I don't know if this would help, but I'll type in, how about virtual assistant? Just to give us an idea, something to look at. Does that make sense? So if somebody's going to go in and they want to work, they've been, I'll use the administrative assistant for years or anything where they've done any type of admin work, and they want to go in and apply their skills and be a virtual assistant. And Ika, my dog, is going to go into a barking fit here, so bear with me. So what are some of the tips for finding contracts in this area? So again, administrative assistant, some type of office type work, was sitting 6 out of 8 hours a day, can't do that anymore, come in here.
Okay, so tips on landing your first client for beginners. Like we've mentioned earlier, you guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first is the decent photo. So, and especially you want your photo to be friendly. So try not to look too serious. So for Brian, your picture is actually okay. For you, Brian. And make sure that you create a compelling profile. So you can use every part of your profile to showcase your skills, and also showcase your expertise in the title and overview section. And you can also make an introductory video and also create a templated proposal that is suited to your niche, as opposed to writing new versions each time you apply to a listing. And make sure that your profile matches the job description that you're trying to apply for.
Okay. You
Okay.
said something there that really piqued my interest, Jam. Sorry to be rude and raise my hand like I
Sure.
like you do in class. When you say an introductory video, do you mean a video specific for the job, or do you mean like a profile video?
You can make two actually, for your profile and then for the job that you really want to apply for.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so
Also,
for introductory, it's just mostly about your previous experience. You can highlight your personal and your professional skills, as
yeah.
well as your experience. Yeah,
Okay.
just those.
I'll share with you what I do on from a hiring side. When somebody comes through and applies, we ask them a series of questions, and I do look for a video on their profile, but not many have one. But what I do ask for, well, not all the times, but I commonly ask for somebody to submit either an audio recording or a video explaining 2 or 3 simple points as to why they would like to work here. And I do that so I can get an understanding for their delivery and their communication style, because usually within 30 seconds, I can understand if they're going to be able to relate to our members, our audience out there. So that's what I do. So if you could be prepared to do that, like Jam's suggestion, and it's as easy as, I don't know where my phone is, I was going to pick it up, but you can just do it with your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so great. Any other thoughts?
On the tips?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you can check your client's average paid hourly rate.
Yeah.
And since you're a beginner, I highly suggest that you drop your rates to gain your first review. Because through the eyes of the client, this makes you a gamble, and they have no real proof that you're capable of doing what your profile says you can do. So yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, decrease your hourly rate to encourage those who are interested.
Right. Yeah, no, that's but I also think that if somebody decreases their hourly rate, they should provide a justification for it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go back from my side. So if I
Okay.
see somebody that has an hourly rate that's below the market range, what I would expect to pay without an explanation, then I would be concerned. I have had this happen to me. People have done that and they've said, listen, I just want to get started. I want the opportunity. Give me a shot, and this is what I'll do it for. So good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Michelle or Jim, if we're looking at these as real life contacts, like these on the screen here, is there anything that you would point out to those in the audience that would either be yay, go ahead, or nay, don't?
Yeah, payment verified.
Okay, so right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And what about payment verified?
Yeah, it should have a blue check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because that would mean that the client has verified their bank accounts or connected. Yeah.
I don't
To
see
the app.
I don't see any of these that are verified, but
You can just
lastly,
filter.
okay, so everybody pay attention on the left-hand side here. There's payment verified. I'm going to click that. And you'll see there's a blue check. So these are the good ones. These are the ones that are proven.
Yes.
Yeah. Take note of this, guys, because this has been my experience. The first job that I applied for is not payment verified, and they asked to communicate to me outside the Upwork app. So Yeah, short story, they ask for money, like $20, before they give me a task or hire me or give me a client. So
Mhm.
that's a scam. So everything
Okay.
should be communicated inside the Upwork app.
All right, so let's go, we'll go on to that in a minute, but
Okay.
while we're here, payment verified as one very important thing. Are there any other like tips to look for? You mentioned hourly rate of $25 to $30 is what they're paying. This one's 15.
How much they spent?
How much
That's
they've
personal.
spent.
Yeah, personal
Okay.
advice.
So this one has spent $100,000 on Upwork. So they're definitely a heavy user.
Yeah,
This
that would
one
mean
is
that they've been a client for a while.
right.
Yep.
Right. Here's one for 30,000. Okay. All right. So payment verified. How much work they've done on Upwork? Okay. Good. Should we move on to communication? And of course, if you have any questions about what we're going through, put them in the chat. We're going to go through and address all the questions in a few moments when we're done here. Communication through the Upwork app. If you watch my navigation up here, you'll see at the top, there's some different drop downs. Are you referring to everything going through this messaging feature?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you that are listening, if you reach out to a potential contract, your message will be sent through this. They'll reply back to this. And I know for how my profile is set up as a copy of the communication also goes into my email inbox, but it would be a good habit, in my opinion, to once you're working and active to check this daily, right? Just to make sure you don't miss it until you have the confidence that everything is working properly. Anything we should cover in this section?
None.
None. It's pretty like
Yeah.
it's like using a chat feature from Facebook or others.
Yeah.
All right. So you contact somebody, you send out a message, they respond, hey, I'm really interested in you. What typically happens next?
You get an invite
Okay.
for interview.
Invite for an interview. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviews are conducted how?
They will be sending you a Zoom link or Skype link.
Okay. Zoom or Skype. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And any interviewing tips?
Yeah, for that matter, you need to be on the meeting room 5 minutes
Yes.
before the scheduled interview. So that
Yeah.
Okay.
leaves a very good impression to your employer that you
Mhm.
are, you're not tardy. So 5 minutes
Mhm.
before the interview time, be on the meeting
Okay.
room.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, and
Punctual.
also it would be helpful if you have prepared your tools, like you have a headset and you have a good camera quality
Right.
as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So camera quality, let's talk about that for a moment. I know a little bit about that. Computers have cameras, and they're all right unless you're using a Mac, they're better. And you can definitely do this on your phone. If you have an iPhone or a recent Android, then the camera quality on those is going to be even better. So to have the camera is one thing. The other thing is lighting. Like, I don't know, Michelle and Jam, do you use any lighting?
Yeah,
Well,
when
yes.
okay, go ahead.
in my room right now, I have 3 lights on just to make sure that it's well lit on the camera.
I have 2.
2. Good. Yeah, and so you want to have the lights facing at you. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there. And you're probably like, oh my God, I really got to get into this, but you do. You want to, I mean, it's an interview. So it's like going into a job. You want to have a good impression. I even put on a collared shirt for this event today. So,
yeah.
right. So you definitely want to come across. And, if you want to know what not to do, you can go back on our YouTube channel to like 2018 and see some really ugly videos with some bad lighting. But it's part of the process. Okay, so we have an interview and then pretty much you're on your own there. It's like you're going to go and communicate what you can do and what you cannot do and take it from there. Any other, setup technical tips that we're missing?
Yeah, before the interview, make sure your computer
is working properly.
Yeah, it's working, your audio.
And
your
just
internet.
a heads up, a heads up everyone, whenever you have an interview, an employer could also do a spot technology check. When we say technology check, they usually check your internet speed. They also check what's the make and model of your computer and the software that you use, as well as the make and model of your headset. And there are also employers that would require you to have your webcam even if you are working. So if you are like working 8 hours a day, they would like the webcam to be turned on. So those are our employers. There are some employers that would require that, but others don't. So those are just good to know things.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I don't expect our audience is going to be, unless there's somebody that's listening, working full-time and looking to transition, then that definitely would be applicable. So now that I think about it, that's really that could apply for people. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. So
yeah, Brian, for those employers who requires that, those are the tasks or the jobs that would usually include like payment information. So if you are actually an account executive doing sales and you would need to close a sale and you would need to like ask the customer for the purchase, then they would require you to be on camera always.
Okay.
So, just good to know.
All right. What other office type setup items should somebody have to be successful at this? We talked about computer, camera, headset, some lighting. If you have natural lighting, that's the best. Anything else?
Make sure you set up a comfortable workplace. You're not like, for example, you're not easily distracted from outside noises.
Right. Dogs, lawnmowers, children, cats. My mom just came to the door, which she seldom does, but
oh, that was her.
I should have invited her in, actually. Okay, this has been great. One thing I'll add that I can think of before we kind of wrap up and take some questions is there's support that's available at Upwork. And I know I've used them from my side. Have you used the support, Michelle and Jam, for Upwork?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I know they have remote support, like when I was setting up as a freelancer and I went through this exercise, for a variety of reasons, but I actually got some fantastic support and there's some good resources that are available. So it's not like you're left alone. It's of their best interest to help you out because, they are basically the broker and they put the employer and the worker together and they get a piece of the action for every dollar that's spent, and that's how they make their money. So they want to make sure that this goes successful. So anyway, I hope those of you listening out there have found value in learning to freelance. We would love to hear your questions, especially your success stories that you have. So now at this point of the program, I would like to pivot and address some questions. Jam, you want to go through so I don't miss any, or you all right with that?
Yeah, I have Bob Rocky.
Yeah.
Hello, Brian. I'm here today on behalf of my son who may need to consider quitting his job and going on total disability soon.
Okay, well, welcome. If there's any specific questions, we would like to help him. I will say this, if somebody is working and they're kind of like see on the horizon that they may have to stop, I would definitely suggest that you join as a member, because we have specific information that will help you understand what to do now, like what to do now in your doctor's visits, and what to communicate in your doctor's visits. It'll also help you get an understanding of what the process is when you start the application, how long it takes for you to get paid, to make sure that you've got enough money to cover the gap, and maybe you don't have short-term, long-term disability insurance. So there's a variety of things other than just thinking about it. You can make your life so much easier if you just have all the right steps in place. Because if you do the right things now, you can get approved much faster. I guess that's the biggest point I want to make. So welcome. All right. What's next, Jam?
All right. I know a person, this is from Cherries Fox. I know a person that got injured over 10 years ago. He applied for disability. He got dental, but he wants to try to apply again. So what's the measurements to get started to apply?
Well, if he was injured and it was 10 years ago, I would be concerned that wouldn't qualify for Social Security disability benefits anymore. And the reason for that is your Social Security benefits, disability benefits, expire about 5 years after the time that you've stopped working. So the first step would be for this individual is to find out if they do qualify, is to go to ssa.gov and sign in or create an account with them and look under the estimated benefits tab, find out if they qualify for a check. That would be step one. And if they do, then definitely join us as a member, because then you can get access to our disability approval course, understand what steps need to be done so that you can, if you want to, manage your own case, get it approved on your own, or if you don't want to do that, perhaps there is a done for you option. You know, if your case is in good shape and you've got doctor's treatment and all the other components, so that somebody could actually win your case. So those are my suggestions.
Right. Okay. So next is from KP. Hi guys, I'm legally blind, 8-year stroke survivor, and formerly on dialysis. I wanted to know how my benefits could be maximized and if I can get some information on that. I'm a member already. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And I also have an interview tomorrow with our health department here where I live.
Okay. So I want to make sure I get this. Wants to know how to maximize benefits.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other part of the question?
If he can get some information on that, and also he also have an interview tomorrow with his health department.
Okay.
There's not really follow-up question on that.
All right. I don't know about the health department. I don't have a lot of intel on that as to the reason why, but there's, as far as maximizing your benefits, if you look at your benefits, like the average disability check is $1,350 for the people that we work with and help them get approved. And it is possible that there's things that you're entitled to that you're not getting, things that you're paying for that you shouldn't be, like your Medicare premium or cell phone service or internet. And we can definitely help you with that. Just, the best thing to do on that as a member is you can request a benefit review. And we'll take a look at what you have, where you live, what your conditions are, what your monthly income is, and then we can compare that to what's out there. So that's step one. Commonly, when we do a review, we find that there's like $3,300 and something of annual benefits that somebody is not getting. So that's one, request a benefit review. The second thing is, I mean, if you can find something or have something that you would like to do to earn some extra money, I would definitely take advantage of that. And that's, you're here today and we've covered this in the last few weeks because you can earn an extra $10,000 a year. It's probably going to go up a little bit next year. I'm using rough figures. It's $970 a month. That's really the best way to maximize your benefits. So two things again: benefit review, make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to, and then staying tuned in here. We'd love to hear back. Maybe you're doing it already. Finding a way to supplement your income.
All right, from John Higgins, I was approved for SSI and disability December 2019. My girlfriend has a permanent disability and told me that they will reevaluate my status in 2 to 3 years. So I'm worried about losing my benefits end of this year.
Yeah, that's a concern for a lot of people. I've covered this extensively on the YouTube channel. A few tips are, they're called continuing disability reviews. And in your award letter, it will commonly say, your benefits will be reviewed at, could be a year, 18 months, 2 years, 3 to 5 years. And if it's not in there, it doesn't mean that you're off the hook, because sometimes it's not put in there. So the best thing to do is to prepare and follow the work that we do on this channel, or that we provide you more specifically as a member, to understand what to do right now, every time, what to do every day, and how to take what you do every day and communicate that to your doctors and your visits. So that's definitely it. The likelihood of people getting reviewed has increased because the Biden budget, there was, I don't know, it was 14% of the budget, but I think it was like it was a lot of money that got allocated from the budget. I don't remember the exact figure, but the point is about 20% of disability recipients will be reviewed annually. And in the next 12 months, based on the numbers they provide, 50,000 people will lose their benefits. And a lot of them are losing their benefits, from what I see in the comments, is they're just not, they think they're above the law. They get approved and they're like, I don't need to go to the doctors. I don't need to get the right information in my medical records. So that's my advice. Oh, one last thing. If you search the YouTube channel here for letters CDR, Continuing Disability Review, there's 4 different segments of an interview that I did with attorney Jim Brown, who is the industry expert on this. The complete interview has 10 segments. It's available to members. Some members have been assigned it already. If you haven't been, then just contact support or reply to any of the emails, and we will put you in queue to get the full interview. That gives you extensive information on what to do and how to prepare, what to do if you get it, what happens if you get in trouble, and how you can get out of it. So, all right. Ready for the next one, Jim? You're doing great.
Thank you. So next one would be from Luana Lawson. Does this website help you get notary signing agent jobs? She's referring to the Upwork app, I guess.
I don't know. So
Yeah, me too.
to find out, go in. I don't know if a notary is like an in-person transaction. So I'm going to lean towards no. It's more like remote work from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I kind of feel like I'm in the doctor's office, Jam, with your nice white coat that you have on there. I'm about ready to have my temperature taken and, my pulse and.
Yeah. And if the results are good, you'll be getting a candy.
Oh, wonderful. Dr. Jam, thank you.
All right, so let's proceed. Next one is from, give me 1 second. So from A1, oh, this is more like a comment. Joe Grizzly, you know how to get a mobile home on disability?
Do I know how to? Is that the question?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is emergency EBB, it's called, and it's been profiled on our YouTube channel. And there's exact steps, but you contact your local internet service provider and they can do two things. They can, if you have a phone that's not functioning, they can get you a new one, commonly for a low price, no price. And they can significantly slash or eliminate the cost of your internet. So contact your local internet service provider. Oh, by the way, there might be 3 providers in your area and they might not provide the same level of assistance. Shopping is recommended.
All right. Next one from Lonnie Gooding. Been diagnosed with cirrhosis that has caused hospitalization 2 times for internal bleeding. Those cirrhosis meet a listing?
Good question. So my understanding is there's a condition. I'm going to address it this way, see if I'm on track. I have a condition. I think it's severe. Doesn't meet a listing. Is that right?
Yeah, I suppose so. So yeah, that's all of the questions that I have here.
Okay, so let me address that one. If you have a limitation or a disability, whether it's your liver or your back or mental illness, there's 14 different, actually, I'll pull them up on the screen here. There's 14 different what's called blue book listings for Social Security. Just give me a moment, folks. I'm pretty good at doing one thing at a time, but when I try to talk and type, it just like goes nuts. So, okay. So there's 14 different listings. I'm going to pull them up on the screen, and then I'm going to give you all a tip on listings and how you can understand them to get your benefits and to keep your benefits. So here we go. All right. So this is, if you type in Social Security disability listings, you'll come up with listings of impairments, adult Part A. Now down here, you'll see there's different categories: musculoskeletal, sensory, speech, respiratory, etc. And so if you look in here and you say, oh, well, geez, I've got diabetes, that means I probably meet listing 9, or I've got a bad back, it should be no problem. I'm going to meet listing 1. There's more to it than that. So I'm going to use this musculoskeletal one as an example. So in here in musculoskeletal, you can come down and, you know, it's in Social Security speak, but there's a few things that stand out. Which disorders do we evaluate? Okay, so what are the back disorders, like curvature of the spine, the spinal fusion, things like that? So they're going to look at, first of all, what is it? And then they're going to look at the evidence. And this is pretty consistent with any other listing. What is it? What evidence do you have? Now, if you've listened to the work that we have done here, and I might seem like I sound like a broken record about your doctor, but you could have a condition, but if you don't have evidence, which is up on the screen right now, can't get approved. So what is evidence? So for a musculoskeletal, evidence could be an MRI, could be an X-ray, is solid evidence. So that would be the second piece. So if you have the condition, and then you have the evidence, the third piece that is going to be looked at is what is the limitation from this condition. So down here, we have a grading system for muscle function. And how the grading system works is it has 0, which is low, all the way up to 5, which is good, right? So it's pretty self-explanatory. So here is, I'm going to loop this back to one, answering your question. I don't know if you have all 3 of these and it's well documented in your medical records, then high probability that you'll meet a listing. Then you just need to make sure it's pointed out to Social Security. But for those of you that are on benefits, or those of you trying to get benefits, this still applies. If you're concerned about a review and you want to put a lock on your disability income, it's the same process. So what you do on a daily basis for your condition, and journaling and tracking your limitations is the best income insurance that I can suggest to you. There's one tip, and that could be, you know, relative to this, is that, you know, I got up and I was around today, and, you know, I did some walking, and, you know, my rating today for my muscle function is a 1. It's just, I've got to lie back down. It's not good. So then maybe the next day it's a 3 or a 4, but most days it's a 1. So when you go into your doctor's visit and you get your 12-minute doctor's visit, so I understand now it's probably more like 7, you want to bring in your recording of what your limitation is, right? So just a simple, and I have this book up here, which is just a simple journal that if you took in a piece of paper like this and put my muscle function is averaging, since we last met, it's averaging a 2. It's about as good as it's going to be, is a 2. And that's how you would address this condition. And so you're seeing the doctor because you go into the visit. He's done x-rays and he's done MRIs. You're reporting back on your muscle function with a 2, and that's getting into your medical records, because you're going to take this piece of paper out of your book, and you're going to hand it to him when you're done at your doctor's visit and say, here's a list of all my limitations. Please put this in my medical records. So that's how you get a lock on the using the listings. Understand what they are, understand what limitations need to have, make sure that those limitations are getting into your medical records. Then you review your medical records in your patient portal periodically. Okay. Bit long-winded, I know, but you got hundreds of thousands of dollars of payments on the line here, and they're not easy to get, and they're getting more difficult to keep. So I hope you find that helpful. All right, Jam, is that it for today? Did we get them all? You're on mute. I can see you.
We have a couple more.
Okay.
So, from Laura Sandifer, was recently verbally given a date of an anticipated initial decision. How accurate is that likely to be?
I've never heard of that before, so I don't know. Usually they say, like in your portal, they'll say, 90%, few days left. So I really don't know. I wonder who provided it. Was it a caseworker? Or did you go to a hearing and it was a judge?
No reply yet.
Yeah. But I wish you
Okay.
well. I hope it's favorable. If it is, let us know so we can update your membership and then help you understand what you're entitled to and how to keep them.
Okay. So this one's from Peggy Ferreira. If I win tomorrow, filed on my first husband, he died, do I get off disability and just collect widow's benefit?
You get the higher of the two.
Okay. And follow-up sounds like FIBO, FIBO. I'm not sure. Is that FIBO? It's what she has.
Oh, a condition is fibromyalgia.
It's just FIBO. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a typo.
Could be. Fibo typo.
Yep.
All right. Good. We're gonna wrap it up
Okay.
for the day.
Okay.
Jan?
Last one.
Well, okay, one more. Bring it
Okay.
on.
Okay. John Higgins. Oh, this is not a question, but just wanted to say thank you, Brian, for the information. I have been watching the Disability Digest for a while. I haven't received the form you mentioned in a previous segment for renewal disability benefits.
Thank you for the feedback, and thank you to my wonderful team here that helps me do this. Couldn't do it without you folks, that's for sure. All right, good. We're going to wrap up for the day. Michelle, Jam, thank you so much for your contribution to this event today. And I thank everybody out there who is listening to this live or the replay. I hope you find this of value. We would love to hear results, feedback. I went for my first interview. I got my first job. I'm getting $18 an hour. I'm working 3 hours a day. We would just love to hear that. That's why we do this work. So at any rate, we're here most Wednesdays. So we invite you to come back. We're going to mix the topics up. In a few weeks, we're going to start teaching you how to review your benefits, like for those of you that are approved and for those of you that are going to be approved, how to review the benefits that you're on, how you can understand what your options are, because the new plans are going to be released in the fall. So you can do a complete benefit review on your own if you don't want us to do it for you. So those are some of the things that we have coming up. So if you like the work that we do, which we hope you do, subscribe, ring the bell. If you haven't already, join us or update us as a member. We'd love to help you out. Make it a great day. Until next time, everybody. Thank you. Be well.